Welcome back everybody to Keg River TV. I'm Ray Dowbenko, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of sulfur nutrition in corn and soybeans and how it impacts not only growth but profitability. If we think about sulfur applications, and we're going to talk about that in a few moments, to crops like corn and soybeans, and people think or comment on the high demand, and I think if we look at corn, it's the high yield that drives the high application rate. On a unit basis, a bushel of corn, depending upon where we're located, is going to take between 0.1 and 0.2 pounds of sulfur for that bushel of corn. A bushel of beans, soybeans, are going to take between 0.3 and 0.4 pounds of sulfur for that bushel of beans. So if you think about your typical production rates, 50 to 70 bushel beans, and 200 to 300 some odd bushels of corn, you start to take out a lot of sulfur. And then you couple that with the idea of the importance of sulfur in amino acid formation like cysteine and methionine that go up to link together to form amino acids that are going to be forming proteins, the importance of nitrogen in corn for good healthy growth, the importance of nitrogen fixation and nodule formation that sulfur plays a role in soybeans. This starts to help us understand why sulfur nutrition of corn and soybean is important not only to keep the plant nice and green, but also for the profitable use of not only sulfur to grow a good yield, but also to make proper use of your nitrogen. If you think about corn, probably about 50% of its sulfur is taken up at the tassel stage or by the tassel stage, but still another 50% to grain fill. So the season-long availability of that elemental sulfur oxidizing can feed the early part of the season and still be oxidizing under protected situations, so you don't have the sulfate leaching, still be oxidizing to provide sulfur later in the corn season. Similarly for soybeans, if we think of it, major uptake is occurring around the R2 to R4 reproductive stage, so that's full flower to full pod. At that point, about 50% is taken up. There's still another 50% to go there for grain fill and pod fill. So season-long availability is important. Choosing the right source and the application time is important. We grow a lot of corn on sandier ground, lighter land, often under irrigation. And so we're running a lot of water or through rain-fed, a lot of precipitation that's going to move sulfate down through the root zone and below the root zone, through the soil profile, and below the root zone. The elemental sulfur, because it's elemental, only oxidizing, what oxidizes is being available for crop uptake, and what hasn't oxidized is resistant against that leaching and the loss aspect. Hey there, thanks again for watching. Hope that you found something of interest. Really like to have you along and engaged. Got questions, send them along to Keg River TV. Subscribe and we'll answer your questions more fully with whatever aspect of question you have in the future. Take care and talk to you again.